What's up, Ravens fans? Welcome into a fresh edition of Ravens Unscripted, as always, coming to you from the Under Armour Performance Center. So it was a short week for the Ravens that included an unfortunate loss to the Cincinnati Bengals on Thursday night. Against a divisional opponent, you can't have a slow start. What's worth worrying about, and how do we point our attention forward to the Broncos? That's the plan over the next 30 minutes here on Unscripted. Let me introduce the panel. We have Keith Mills of WBAL, Erin Hawksworth of WJLA, but you know her from Ravens Report, and some guy named Ryan Mink who seems to always be on this couch. And let's start, as we always do, guys, with 4 downs. And Keith, first down, big picture here. Your main concern after seeing that game Thursday night in Cincinnati?
Yeah, I would say right now the pass defense have, not just because what happened with the Bengals and the fact that A.J. Green scored 3 first-half touchdowns, just the nature of the league right now and some of the teams that the Ravens are going to be playing. Drew Brees and the Saints, Matt Ryan and the Falcons. 2 weeks you got Ben Roethlisberger and all the weapons there without Jimmy Smith. And that's a collective pass defense. That's pass rush and secondary. Didn't get a lot of pressure on Andy Dalton last night. I thought it really hurt the secondary in the first half because they just weren't keeping up. So I'm going to keep a close eye on the secondary the entire season just because of the nature of the NFL, man, because they come at you in waves right now with 3 and 4 receiver sets.
I'm going first down. You take a look at the Bengals, and I thought they were so much better up front, both offensively and defensively. It's a warfare. They're in the trenches there, and the Bengals won that war.
To me, it's C.J. Mosley coming out of this game. Look, I think the offense, it did rally a bit after getting off to a slow start, and they had too many turnovers, and the offensive line was a big problem. That's a concern for me. But I think the defense, it kind of rallied. You know, the Bengals have a lot of offensive playmakers out there, so I did like what I saw from defense in terms of how they responded to that early adversity. To me, the longest concern for me is C.J. Mosley. I mean, he is a Pro Bowl talent, and he's the anchor in the middle of that defense. If he's out for an extended period of time, I think that's a big problem.
Yeah, there was a sense that there's good news, which it is, that there's not ligament damage, but a bone bruise, Erin, as you've mentioned, can be something that can linger. As you look at this, not necessarily a level of concern, but how do you view things moving forward with the uncertainty of when you'll see CJ back?
This is crucial. I mean, we saw when he went out what happened to the defense, and you don't normally see the Ravens defense struggle like they did. And he's the catalyst. He's out there. He's lining guys up. He's changing plays. And with him gone, I mean, he's like the MVP of that defense. They cannot afford for him to lose a significant amount of time. And so now it's a next man up mentality. But the question is, who's the next man up? And that's the real concern.
All right, well, let's answer that question.
Well, I think the next man up is Kenny Young. I think the 4th round linebacker, he's played really well. He's a fast guy, but you can't expect him to be C.J. Mosley. I mean, in terms of a leadership, in terms of communication, Wink Martindale really empowered some of the veterans on this defense. Eric Weddle's one of them. C.J. Mosley, Terrell Suggs, with changing plays, making a lot of decisions at the line of scrimmage. When you take C.J. Mosley out of that equation, it takes a lot of the teeth out of the Ravens defense.
When C.J. went out, 3rd play of the game, the defense walked around in a trance for about 2 series. Fortunately, they adjusted. They got the speaker helmet to the right guy, which was Eric Weddle in the second half. Played a much better second half. 4 straight punts in the 3rd quarter. I think Kenny Young came in and infused a lot of energy on that defense. Made a couple of mistakes, man, but he shot the gap on a couple of plays for losses. Covered well against Tyler Eifert in the tight ends. I thought he did a really good job, and I'm really anxious to see him take that next step up if CJ's out for an extended period of time. You hope that's not the case, but at least they worked out all the kinks last night in terms of communication and all the other things that have to happen.
So you guys don't think going out and getting a veteran would be an option there?
I don't think you can count on that to provide real chemistry at this point. And that's why you.
I saw that floated out there on Twitter.
Probably depth, but I don't know about I think Kenny Young's the starter that's going to get.
I agree.
There.
3rd down. Let's flip sides of the ball here, Ryan. And look, you could say the slow start's really concerning for this offense and some of the turnovers, or the fight down the stretch. What is going to be your main takeaway with what we saw? What is clearly a better team in Cincinnati than what we saw in Week 1 against the Bills and a defense that was reeling?
For me, it's the offensive line. I think that Joe Flacco, we've all seen when he's protected, he can be among the league's best quarterbacks. When he's not, he's not. And I think this offensive line, when it got a really tough test against the Bengals defensive front, you have Dunlap, you have Geno Atkins. I mean, those guys are really good, but you're going to see more really good defensive lines as the season goes on. So this offensive line needs to protect him better in order to give the offense a chance.
I was a little concerned last night that both lines, offense and defense, got smacked in the mouth right out of the gate and really didn't respond. Offense responded at halftime. Defense, I thought, played much better in the second quarter after they got adjusted to CJ. But that surprised me a little bit. Because not just because what they did in Buffalo, but because that's their MO on defense is to get physical at the line of scrimmage. And I think it took them back a little bit that they did get smacked in the mouth a little bit, and they had to adjust. Offensive line-wise, a major issue the entire year against tough, physical guys inside, like Geno Atkins, who one time just bull rushed Matt Score right back into Joe. That's a major concern, I'm sure, for the coaching staff. But they did adjust again in the second half.
Let's close out our first segment here with fourth down. And Erin, a grade. Look, it's a small sample size, I know, just 2 games. But heading into week 3, what's your grade on this team overall?
I'm going to give them a B. I like what I've seen so far. Again, it is very early. They have the Broncos at home, and the Broncos don't usually play very well on the East Coast. And then they've got that 3-game road trip, and I think the Steelers, obviously, that's always a toss-up, and they're on the road. But I do think they can beat the Browns and the Titans, so I'm going with a B right now.
Yeah, I would agree. I'll even give them a B+. Why not? I still think this is a really good team. I mean, you look at it, you still have the playmakers outside at receiver. Crabtree, John Brown. I mean, Smoke has proven he's legit. I think Alex Collins, you saw what he can do in the running game. Now, to our offensive point, they do need to get the run game working a little bit better.
Don't worry, we'll get to Alex Collins in a little bit. It's contractually obligated.
But I mean, I think you saw some character out of this team. I really do. I think that game last night could have gotten out of hand early. When you fall behind 21-0 on the road, Thursday Night Football against a team that has your number a little bit, could have gotten ugly. But they responded.
And with 9 minutes left, they were down 5, and they were back in the game. And I don't know anyone that didn't think if they got the ball back, they were going to make a push. With that said, I thought they had a bad quarter and maybe 4 to 5 minutes, and then stabilized and played a very good rest of the game. So I'll give them a B. I won't go to B+ group. I'll go with B.
I'm going to give the whole segment an A, especially the Blue Man Group side of the couch here. Do you see what we got going? This is a team. Look out for these two. Is the Lamar Jackson trickery and the lack of Alex Collins a problem? We'll dive into social media to get some answers. We retweet or delete next. Welcome back to the Unscripted Couch. Time for, I think it's my favorite segment here because there's props, it's a game, it's retweet or delete. We dive into social media. Obviously, I'll read some Ravens-related tweets, and the panel here will either delete, which means they disagree with the opinion, or retweet with a little birdie, which means they endorse it.
Tweet.
First tweet from Jeff Strebeck, who we all like, from The Athletic, and his tweet was, Ravens aren't going to win many games, particularly on the road, with no sacks, no forced turnovers. It starts there. So, all right, guys, how do we feel about Jeff's tweet? We got retweets across the board. Yes. Ryan, I'll let you kick it off with why you agree with the brilliant Jeff Strebeck.
Yeah, I mean, this defense last year really made its hay on creating havoc, and they led the league in turnovers, and that was a big part of it, especially when I think that they aren't defending the run as dominantly as they have, let's say, back in the early 2000s. I know that's going back a ways, but, they haven't been stuffing the run as well per carry. And so if you're not going to do that, you have to create some turnovers and some pass rush. We saw it in the first game against the Bills. The Bengals do have a quick fire offense. They do get rid of the ball quickly. They don't have Andy Dalton take that 5-7 step drop. But, you still got to get there somehow. The Colts did the week earlier.
I can't remember the last time a Ravens defense did not get one or the other, a sack or a turnover. Last year, as Ryan said, you got a lot in the same game, but at least a sack. And they got very few pressures yesterday as well, whether it's a 2-3 step drop or not. Got to get some pressure on the quarterback. So you could say that for any game, home, away, wherever it is. That's crucial.
Well, it doesn't always have to be accomplished journalists that'll make retweet or delete. Our next two are from the fans, who we love. Here's Paul. Second Ravens game that Lamar Jackson trickery isn't productive. Not happy at all. continuing those plays. RG3 should be number 2 QB. I think this will provide some contention among the group. We got a delete from Ryan, a delete from Millsy.
Oh, she's on the fence here.
Aaron.
I'm really on the fence
Let's
on
go.
this one.
I know what I feel like. Go ahead.
You got to pick one.
You got to pick one.
Well, there's a lot.
There's no
there's
fence.
a lot in that tweet.
Let's keep it specific then to Lamar Jackson trickery.
Cut out the
RG3
Okay,
number 2
good,
because that really doesn't
the
matter.
RG3 thing was throwing me for
Okay,
a loop.
so we
RG3.
still got to
what
delete
is the
from.
statement?
I'm still deleting.
Basically, if
I'm going to change mine.
you disagree
to
with
retweet
the
it, I'll tell you
idea that Lamar Jackson's trick plays or whatever you want, gimmick plays, should be taken out. You disagree with
disagree.
that.
I think they are productive.
Okay, so
for a
then
different
you would
reason
disagree
than
as
people
well.
may think.
Well, then you would disagree with the
Okay,
statement.
so then
Yeah.
I'm doing that. Sorry.
I don't disagree with that, but I think it's a great discussion piece that I would retweet it just to get it out there and hear what people have to say because I think a lot of people feel that way. I don't. I think Lamar has a role in the offense. I think the coaches and Lamar and Joe are all finding their way what it is right now. I think they'll reach a comfort zone down the road, but I would retweet it because I think it's a great conversation.
Okay, then Aaron, I know you do have a unique view on
Yeah,
this because
I don't-
where does your production in your mind lie?
So I do think it's productive because, first of all, I don't like him coming out for the trick plays. But I did notice when Lamar is out there, it seems to motivate Joe Flacco. And we saw him under pressure. He's
Got
probably,
Dr. Phil over here.
probably rolling his eyes like, here comes Lamar Jackson. And what do we know? Joe Flacco, he gets a touchdown 2 plays later. So that is productive.
So that's great coaching.
Okay,
too,
let's
by
hear
the
the
way.
other side of it
Yes.
from
Look,
Ryan.
here's my thing. Okay, Lamar Jackson's going to break one. He's going to break one at some point, and we're all going to be like, whoo, good thing we put
can't
Lamar
put one on the
Jackson out
sideline
there,
now.
man, right? So, I mean, it's going to take a little bit of time. I don't think when you're giving him 5 plays, yes, it hasn't been as productive. I'd rather see, 5-yard gains at least, not getting stuffed at the line. But I think that it is making defenses think a little bit more. It is throwing a wrinkle in, and I'm not ready to abandon it yet.
But other teams always know that he's going to be involved. It's just.
Well, not really. I mean, the Bills, he was a decoy on a few of those plays. You have to run some decoy plays to make the real plays work.
Okay, well, there's one more, so we got to get to this because it might be as passionate as the Lamar discussion. This is from Eric Collins. Alex Collins needs to be featured more too. He's clearly the most dynamic player we have on this Ravens
Sounds like a lot of
team.
bias here. This is Collins arguing for Collins here.
This is burner account.
Point.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, we got retweets across the board, guys. Let's make it quick. And Keith, why or how does Alex Collins become more involved?
I don't know if he's the most dynamic player on the offense, but he certainly needs the ball more. We've talked about improving the running game. That should get him involved a little bit more. And listen, man, you can say you want to run the ball, but you got to be productive when you do it. I think as the season goes on, the ball gets in his hands more, the offense will be better.
I think the same thing. He's fun to watch. He's an aggressive runner. Reminds me of Marion Barber. I think the more touches he gets, the more rhythm he's going to establish.
Look, the run-pass balance was way out of whack by virtue of the score. The Ravens had to throw the ball to come back so quickly, and they did. It worked. But with that said, I'm a little surprised that the split between Buck Allen and Alex Collins is essentially a 50-50 right now, where I would expect Alex Collins to have the lion's share.
How do we discuss a rookie class and fashion all in the same segment? We'll try it next with the rating game. Welcome back to Unscripted. Time for the rating game. So Keith, Erin, the way this works is it's a number next to your opinion. Keith, you're going to have to write on this tablet here. So I know this could be generationally difficult, but we'll do our best. 1 through 10 is normally how it works. Keith, first up, he's a good sport. He can take it.
Hey, you're supposed to abuse me, not Keith, all right?
He spoke at my high school on career day. He's the reason I'm in this business, and that's the truth. Let's rate this rookie class. Rate this rookie class, guys. It's a big one. 1 through 10. 10 being a once-in-a-lifetime group. 1 being the big reveal
The guy's playing
here.
now, right?
Ryan right down the middle, Mink. We got Erin at a 6 and a 6. So, You want to take this one first?
I mean, what have we really seen? I mean, Hayden Hurst.
Seen 2 games. You're ready to really make a determination.
Well,
at this
I mean,
point.
I'm just saying the rookies haven't even really played that much. I mean, Hayden Hurst has been injured. Lamar Jackson has gotten some reps, but hasn't really done a whole lot with them. Orlando Brown Jr. has been on the bench.
Mark Andrews has probably been the best.
Right.
I would probably say
Kenny
that Kenny
Young?
Young has
Yeah,
been the best. I mean, and now with CJ potentially out, he's going to be really relied upon. On that point, we're going to see whether CJ Mosley needs that contract extension, whether he's going to be worth it or not, based on how well Kenny Young plays.
Good point.
I think the 2 tight ends could be really good when Lamar Jackson learns how to play the quarterback position. He has a lot of promise. This is obviously Ozzie Newsome's legacy draft. But for me, all I could think of was middle of the pack. We haven't really seen enough. But I went a little optimistic with the number 6.
I thought Mark Andrews played a terrific game last night. Got out of bounds on that big drive, caught the touchdown pass, drew an interference penalty. So his learning curve has really been accelerated. I think he's doing fantastic.
There's lots of like here. I think we just haven't seen a whole lot yet.
But Hurst is the
Patience
Mark.
of Mink is so prudent. Continuing to judge things here, the toe tap of John Smoke Brown Thursday night in comparison to what we saw from Michael Crabtree. So just so you have some context, 10 being it's that Crabtree, maybe Santonio Holmes type catch in the Super Bowl. We got an 8.
It's a fire emoji.
I'm not. Oh, fire emoji.
Smoke.
Okay.
That's not fair.
What is it?
Yeah.
Is that like a 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fire.
That's
Fire
a 10?
emoji. Of course, it's on fire.
So it's better than
He would break the
Crabtree.
You're
rules.
saying it's better than Crabtree's?
Yeah.
I would say it was better than
Crabtree's
Crabtree's.
epic. Really?
I
think
no
John
way.
I
Brown's
don't
play.
think it was better.
I think
I
John
thought it
Brown's
was
player
equally as
better.
good a throw. Joe pretty
Yeah,
much
it was a great
threw
throw.
that
It was a
right
great
into.
throw.
Yeah, but the
to-
high step is what I like.
The
with
high step,
Crabtree.
you don't see
That
that.
was
I was like,
impressive.
what? How? Why did he even have to do that?
Nate Burleson said that was one of the greatest high steps he'd ever seen.
It was pretty
The
awesome.
Crabtree one
Yeah.
was pretty epic. Okay, well, this is what we've all been waiting for. When the team took the field Thursday, we saw a new look, I think, right? It was sort of that purple with the
That's the
white
first time they ever
up
wore that.
top. Yeah, I
First
think
time ever.
first time for everything. Maybe never again after the way things went. I
gotta
know this
win.
is
You
a
gotta win.
superstitious,
That's a good point.
superstitious
That's
building.
Factor into my number.
So you guys color coordinated, I mentioned earlier in the show. So let's get a number 1 through 10 here, how we felt about the purple and white mixture outfit,
I
whatever
can't
you
give it
call
10,
it.
but
A
I like
9.
I'm going 6.
Keith is a
I
man of
like
style.
them, and I'm colorblind, so
Okay,
that's
so
why
Keith's got an
I
eye.
like them.
Aaron,
You're
you
so
haven't been able to
great.
show it, but you're obviously of style too. Let's see the shoes.
I got the
Oh.
true
They're not
blue
purple,
Jordan.
but this is a woman who knows what obviously looks good. So you
I
went with a
actually,
6.
I chose it for a different reason. I like it when the Ravens play in dark colors. I think they're more aggressive. They're more intimidating.
You are
So for me,
taking this to another level.
I
From
am.
Joe's
I'm like
psyche
Dr.
to
Phil today. So that's why I'm giving it a 6.
I like it.
Ryan,
Nothing can
close us
compare to
out.
the all black unis.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
nothing can compare.
All blacks are good.
That's
Yeah.
good. Well, guys, this was fun. Aaron, Keith, thanks as always for stopping
great
by.
time.
Mink, you're the man. Hey, remember, September 23rd, the game against the Broncos, the next home game for the Ravens, they'll be honoring Ray Lewis, so you won't want to miss that. And as for the Unscripted Couch, we'll see you next time. Thanks as always for watching.